Oh, hi, it's your old buddy Zoo. And just this morning, I was at the grand reopening of the Micro Center in Columbus. And yes, I'm the kind of person that goes to a Micro Center reopening. In my defense, I had a free coupon for a 128 gigabyte flash drive and a $25 gift card. Anyway, on my way to the register with the weird mech kit I bought, I saw this! 2 full shelves of TrimUI Bricks, $79.99, and the shelf tag says 64 gig models, which means there should be a card in the box. I say should. I went back and I checked the boxes. I checked the display area twice, and the tag does say 64 gigabyte version. But the boxes were shrink wrapped, and I really couldn't bring myself to take out a knife in the middle of Micro Center on their brand new reopening day and start cutting into their product. I thought about it, but then I decided not to. Now, this video isn't sponsored. Nobody's giving me nothing. And in fact, I'm going to tell you in a couple minutes why $79.99 isn't the best price for a brick. But it is important that you can walk into a brick and mortar store and find these on the shelves. And I'm going to tell you why. So what are we looking at here? There's 2 rows of TrimUI bricks, white and black, several units deep. And it's not a clearance end cap by the bathrooms either. This is a gaming wall. It's right by the checkout, and all your other friends are there, like Game Sir, Genki, 8-Bit Do, all of them. And then I looked it up on the website, and the part that made me think is where they file it. It's not with toys. It's with gaming systems, the same category tree as consoles. Somebody at a corporate office in Hilliard sat down, and they decided that a TrimUI brick is a gaming system. And this isn't a Columbus only thing, which was kind of my first assumption. I checked the website, and it's available in almost every single one of their 30 stores nationwide. And it's also in-store pickup only, which means you can't ship it to yourself. You have to physically go into a store and buy it. Hold on to that thought, because I want to talk about the shelf a little bit more. Guess what used to be on that shelf? I don't want to say it, but garbage. And then look at what Micro Center is currently filing under gaming systems. A Street Fighter II Micro player for $70. A Pac-Man joystick player for $60. A Galaga Pocket Player Pro, $40. And you know this sort of stuff from Spencer's, from Five Below, from the FYE that's somehow still open at the Ball, which is also somehow still open. They got these tiny 2-inch screens with one game, joysticks and buttons that feel like squishy, stale marshmallows. They're not great. But for years now, if you wanted retro gaming, that's kind of all you could get in a store. They didn't really improve anything. They just swapped out the licensed characters on the boxes. And here's something that's going to wrinkle your almond. The Street Fighter device is $70, which means the brick at $79.99 with a laminated 1024 by 768 screen and 20-something systems is $10 more than the Street Fighter II one-trick pony device. And now on to the other side of this equation, because the way you and me and pretty much everyone else watching this video got into the hobby wasn't a physical shelf in a physical store. It was AliExpress or something similar. And AliExpress is fine. I've spent an embarrassing amount of money myself on AliExpress, but just think what we're asking a regular, normal human being to do. You have to search and then find a specific seller on a website maybe you didn't even know existed until today. There's probably 4 or 5 or 20 different listings for 4 or 5 or 20 different prices. You're supposed to pick the right one. You're supposed to find a coupon code. Maybe you found it on a Discord. Maybe you found it from a lunatic on YouTube. Hi, I'm the problem, it's me. And then you wait 3 weeks. You watch it go from China to Alaska to Chicago, and then inexplicably it circles back to Denver, and you're sitting there like, where's my freaking game? And then it shows up and there's no card with it. So you have to learn what a BIOS file is when all you want to do is play, I don't know, Rondo of Blood. That's more of a hazing ritual than a purchase. And yeah, that's the way me and you probably got into the hobby, but is that the front door we want to lead new people through? Not too sure. So what does $79.99 at a Micro Center get you that, I don't know, $40, $50 on AliExpress doesn't? The first one kind of surprised me because TrimUI's own website sells the bare brick for $79.99. The brick with a 64 gig card is $99.99. I assumed it'd be cheaper on the TrimUI Brick website than at Micro Center. It wasn't. Let's deal with that card question while we're here, because there's two ways this plays out. If that tag at Micro Center is correct, then Micro Center is selling a $99.99 handheld on the TrimUI website for $79.99. You are not only getting it right now, no shipping, no fooling around, you're getting it for cheaper, $20 cheaper. And if the tag is a misprint, if something went wrong when they were scrambling to get ready for the grand reopening, you still break even. $79.99 online, $79.99 in the store. Except in the store, you get all sorts of perks you don't get on the TrimUI website. Now let's talk about those perks. You get a 1-year warranty from Micro Center. You get a 30-day return window. And if you have an account with them, you don't even need to bring your receipt with you. You get 60 days of tech support, and if something goes haywire, they have a physical counter with a real person, and you can walk in there and say, how come my tiny Game Boy won't turn on? Now, I have no idea if they can actually help you. I haven't tested it. Maybe it'll be a part-time job opportunity for your old buddy Zoo, but a physical counter exists, and it has never really existed in this hobby ever until now. Third, and this only counts if it actually comes with an SD card, but the cost of SD cards have risen anywhere from like 125% to maybe 300% just in the last year alone. A 256 gigabyte SD card that was like $35 last year is probably closer to $65, $70 now, and it doesn't seem like that trend is going to change anytime soon, which means a bundled card in August of 2026 isn't really the throwaway joke kind of thing we could have said in 2024, where we used to tell people, you don't need the SD card, throw it away, it's garbage, get your own for $8, you'll be fine. The calculus has flipped a little bit on that. And if you're buying it from a place that does have a warranty, maybe you don't have to worry so much about an SD card going bad. Before we go too far, I gotta be straight with you because I can sense it, I can feel it. Some of you are already angrily typing in the comments. $79.99 is not the cheapest way to get a TrimUI brick. You can get it, if you stack coupon codes and find the right AliExpress store, you can get it probably closer to $40. That's a big difference. And if you watch this channel a lot or channels like it, then I'm telling you, don't buy it from Micro Center. If you know how to use AliExpress, you know how to use the coupon codes, you're comfortable with that whole process, get it for significantly cheaper from AliExpress. But that $79.99 at Micro Center, it's for the guy literally standing 2 people behind me in line that saw a box and said, I've seen that on TikTok. It's for the mom who goes there a couple weeks before Christmas and she knows her kid said, I want one of them little tiny Game Boys. And that's all she's got. And she walks in and she sees it and she says, I'll buy it right here. She doesn't know AliExpress exists. This is why it's important to have these devices in brick and mortar stores. That person, that mom, was never going to buy a handheld from a third-party import site in China. But now they will buy it because there's a place they can drive to and get it. And if it stinks, if the kid doesn't like it, they turn around and they go return it in person. And that's the whole thing. The price difference won't change the hobby, but the complete lack of risk just might. And it's like the Amazon tax. We always say, well, if you want to get it real quick and you want to return it, if something goes wrong, you're going to pay an extra $20 on Amazon. But this is like an Amazon tax where it's like real life. I get it immediately. There's no such thing as prime shipping. It's right now shipping. So why is this happening now instead of a couple years ago? Well, a couple of things met in the middle. The first thing is importing products got a lot harder. Without getting into the nitty-gritty, it used to be things under a certain value limit, there weren't any taxes on, or there were minimal taxes. And then that changed. So now there's a flat tax on all sorts of stuff coming to us from China. And so you might feel the pinch if you buy it from a website. You buy it direct from the manufacturer. You don't feel that pinch, or at least that pinch is absorbed somewhere in a budget line when you're buying it from a brick and mortar store here in the US of A. Second, the brick aged into it. The Brick Pro just came out like a month or two ago. The Brick Hammer came out, the end of last year. So the Brick Regular, which it's not what it's called, but I'm calling it now, this has had quite some time to evolve and get better, especially as custom firmware is released for it. It becomes a much more refined product. It's had almost 2 years of the community fixing anything that was wrong about it. which is actually the part of this whole thing that has me the least worried, because you got stuff like NextUI, Spruce, CrossMix, muOS, probably a bunch of other ones I'm forgetting. All of them run on this exact device. Easy peasy. So the person who buys this at a counter somewhere is not locked down to stock. They just don't know that when they're buying it. It's going to be a hidden perk for them later. So to that person standing in line contemplating the TrimUI brick, here's what I would tell them. Buy it. Take it home. Play on stock for a couple weeks. Don't mess with the firmware. Don't mess with anything else. Just take it home and enjoy the feel of playing all your favorite classic retro games for roughly $80. And don't just play Super Mario World. Go nuts. Play some old arcade games. Play some Kirby games. Play, I don't know, Lufia 2. And after you've played that for a month, maybe 2 months, move on to the next cool thing. Because right around that point in time, you're probably thinking, I wonder if there's a way I can make this better. I wonder if I can find someone online who can explain how to install some new stuff. Have you met your old/new best friend Zoo? Hi, I'll help you. And then just as a personal aside, it is super, super cool that I found this in the Micro Center that is right down the street from my house. I have a lot of memories of that Micro Center. I go there all the time to buy SD cards. That's where I bought my Raspberry Pi during COVID that started me in the path to this entire hobby. My old roommate used to work there. I used to go there and get nerd stuff and then go across the street to the bar and have drinks with my future wife. There's a lot of worlds colliding, and it's super cool. Well, Gary, the clock on the wall says it's time for What Did We Learn? And we learned that the on-ramp moved, and for basically the first time in this hobby, the easiest way to get into the hobby is to walk into a physical store and buy a handheld. We learned that a bundled memory card in 2026 means a little bit more than it did just a year or two ago. And we learned that I probably should have just bought one and opened it up in the parking lot to make sure. But I got scared. And I learned that Gary thinks that Micro Center's 18-minute pickup guarantee is that it gives them time to flash SD cards so they're fresh when you show up. He says it makes them play better. He's been standing at the pickup counter all weekend with a computer and a card reader offering to flash NextUI for anyone that walks by. He has been told politely to leave several times, but he keeps buying all that balls energy drink, so they let him stay. If you think I have ball energy, then remember to like and subscribe and hype and all that jazz. We are this close to 100,000 subscribers, and every one of you that subscribes and presses all those buttons, it helps out a lot more than you know. And let me know in the comments, what was the first retro handheld you bought? How long did you have to wait for it? And how many times did you have to explain that it wasn't a tiny modded Game Boy? Anyway, thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one. Goodbye.